It is inevitable that you will ask me questions about bifocals. Obviously, I wear a plus not because I need it, but to prevent myself from re-entering myopia. But here is a short segment on bifocals, trifocals, all of it. Here we go.
So hi, I'm Robert, Style and Vision Consultant here at the Spectacle Factory, and it's my job to pair you with your perfect pair of glasses. And most people assume that the prescription is everything when it comes to that, but that is not true. You can interpret the prescription in many different ways and turn it into many different types of glasses. So without further ado, let's cover single vision lenses. The most simple type of lens, but that doesn't mean that you should take that decision lightly, because there are actually many different types of single vision lenses. But fundamentally, all single vision lenses work on the same principle. They have one prescription set for one distance. For most people who are below the age of, let's say, 35, 40, single vision lenses are probably the best choice for you. But even above that age, they might still be the right decision to make. Single vision lenses are simple. No matter where you look through the lens, you're looking through the same prescription. Now that actually leads us into an important topic, which is that actually you don't want to be looking through the same prescription in all directions. When our eyes turn and look at oblique angles, the focus of our eyes actually changes. So the world's best single vision lenses are actually optimized to compensate for that effect. Not only that, but some single vision lenses compensate for other types of distortion too. For example, spherical distortion, where your glasses make things bigger or smaller, including your eyes. And on top of that, you have technologies like Smart Life, which will optimize the vision for near focusing as well as far focusing for people who don't have an add-on the prescription, and we're going to get onto that. Or drive safe lenses, for example, which improve your night vision.
Okay, now we get a commercial.
Done by us. Introducing Home Care Plus subscription for $99 a year.
Commercial.
Even
Here we go.
sport single
Start
vision
again.
lenses designed for wraparound frames. So the category of single vision lenses is huge, but fundamentally they correct one type of prescription. So if you see your prescription and you don't have an add value, single vision lenses are probably the best choice for you. That being said, if you do have that add on your prescription, what that means is you need different glasses for different distances. And you can still choose single vision lenses that correct one of those distances at a time. So for example, if you spend a lot of time on the computer, you can have lenses optimized for that distance. Or if you spend a lot of time reading, you can have reading glasses made as a single vision lens. Or you can have glasses for distance. I would argue that in most of those cases, single vision lenses are probably not the best choice, but they are the simplest and usually the most cost effective. So hence single vision lenses, especially stock single vision lenses, which are mass produced, remain very popular in 2025. Now, we've all heard of Benjamin Franklin, and did you know that one of the inventions of Benjamin Franklin was the bifocal? These are those glasses where you see there's a physical, visible line on the glasses themselves. That is quite an old technology, but it still exists in 2025 for a good reason. If you want glasses for far vision and close, or maybe far vision and intermediate, or maybe intermediate and close, basically any two prescriptions in one lens, bifocal achieves that, and it's cost effective and distortion free for the most part compared against progressive lenses, which we're going to get to. Bifocals are really simple. It's just one lens glued on top of another. That means that you don't introduce any optical effects like certain other lenses do. The downside, of course, is obvious. You have a physical line which not only looks kind of ugly, but can be a bit distracting as well. When you're looking at things and the image jumps from one spot to another, it can be a little bit jarring, as opposed to other types of multifocal lenses which are more smooth and natural. Bifocal lenses work well, and I think they are kind of underutilized in 2025 because for some people with some applications, they are still the best choice. Now, bifocals actually come in multiple sizes, so that segment on the lens can be lots of different widths, even all the way across in what's known as an executive bifocal. You can even have something called a Franklin split, which is where you literally take two lenses, chop each one in half, and install them to the frame. And there are reasons why you might need to do that sometimes, but it gets quite technical and quite specialized. It's very unlikely that you'll need that. If you want to take it a step further, you could even go for trifocals, probably the most rare type of lens, but in 2025 you can still get them. A trifocal is literally three focuses built into one lens, but with two lines. These are the rarest type of lens for a reason, because no one really wants any lines on the glasses, let alone two. And if you wear trifocals, you're going to look kind of weird. Some people love them. And if you get used to a trifocal lens, you probably won't want any other type of lens because nothing else delivers the optics of a trifocal lens like a trifocal. Now, one of, in my opinion, the most underutilized lens types is a digital lens, although that is a Zeiss brand name. So there are other names for this technology. You have the sync lenses from Hoya. You have Eisen lenses from Essilor. And basically, these are lenses which are almost like single vision, but have a boost zone towards the bottom of the lens. This is what I actually personally choose for my own glasses, and I love this technology. So when you're looking around normally, you get a distortion-free, very wide field of view, which basically just feels like a single vision lens. But when you come to check your smartphone, hence the name digital, there's a boost zone here which just makes this more comfortable. Now, that is not always designed to actually make things clearer. Like, I can see this equally whether I look through the top or the bottom of my lenses. But by looking through that boost zone, I'm reducing strain on my eyes. And given how much we all use digital devices nowadays, having a digital boost lens like this, for me, is a game changer. It makes my eyes much more refreshed and relaxed by the end of the day than they are when I don't wear my digital lenses. Technically, they go from a 0.5 ad all the way up to a 1.25 ad. If you have an ad on your prescription that's, let's say, 0.5 or 1, you can choose digital lenses, and they might be a better option for you than full-on progressive lenses. We're going to get to, don't worry. Digital lenses are easier to adjust to than progressives. They have less distortion than progressives, but the trade-off is that they don't give you as much reading vision as a progressive lens does. So the question to ask yourself is, am I at the point simple type of lens? But that doesn't mean that you should take that decision lightly, because there are actually many different types of single vision lenses. But fundamentally, all single vision lenses work.
When you reach the age of 45, you almost automatically get a bifocal. Even if you have 20/20 and you read your cell phone at 20 inches with no glasses. After my cataract surgery, when I was at 20/50, as an engineer, I started measuring my range of accommodation for my own curiosity and to see what I could accomplish. And very slowly, I got my refraction to change from a negative value to a positive value, with no concern about bifocals, certainly. So after things settled out in about a year and a half, I was measuring my range of accommodation of 2 diopters. This is with a fixed lens in my eye. The human eye has a capability. The entire eye is dynamic, just not they think the lens is. The entire eye does it. So under good lighting conditions, I could read the Snellen at 20/20, and I could read my cell phone at 20 inches with no glasses. But as you know, I wear a plus lens for reading, +2, and a +4 if I'm reading long term at 10 inches. But I do have that range of accommodation, means that I just don't need a bifocal. I don't need it, but I always verify 20/20 that I pass the required DMV standard or requirement. Inevitably, it's clear that I don't really trust an exam made with a retinoscope when I could do it much more accurately at home using my own test lenses. This makes me independent of an optometrist or ophthalmologist. So as long as I'm passing the required standard, or 20/20, and my refractive state is positive, meaning I'm reading a 20/20 line and can still read it through a +1/2 diopter lens, it means I have vision as totally normal as possible. And of course, you see me reading a plus to prevent myself from re-entering myopia. But this is the subject of my bifocals, getting bifocals when you have 20/20 and you can read at 20 inches with no glasses. I post this just as a general discussion. You don't have to agree with me. You can think I'm wrong. Certainly, medical people have no interest in long-term prevention, long-term 20/20 vision when you make the measurement yourself. And I quite frankly don't see any other way to be successful with prevention except that I must do all measurements myself. So I just don't use a bifocal. Add your own commentary, and thank you.